Thank you. We have a very short closing session, but we are still waiting for our colleagues from the other event. So meanwhile, I would like again to thank you, and you are for being patient and being with us for the last minute, which is we really and highly appreciate. Yeah, and what I used to do every year, that I can take a photo for the closing and put it on our, it will be the main photo on our website, on the event website, and even sometimes we use in other media also, because you are really the conference, and you are really being with us for all time. We appreciate the others' participation, of course. But you have been doing good, attending every single, and I want to apologize for something that we did not allow much time for questions and answers, because you see, we had many sessions and many speakers, and sometimes we start a bit late. So I know that I heard comments for that we did not allow or open the floor for questions. We will take care of this next year, so hopefully we'll allow more time for questions. I'm still waiting for our colleagues from AROQA. Any question, any comment? Yes, we have actually we have shareholders meeting that was happened yesterday, and we decided to have a committee that will take care of all the details at technical level, marketing level, and financial level also. So from all levels, from all aspects, we have a committee, and they will start working on this to see how can we go for it, because this implementation is still, I think we are far from implementing this, but at least how can we market this at the political level, at the League of Arab States, and how can we work with the operators and the carriers. Where can we bring funding? So all this will be really considered by a technical committee that has been assigned yesterday, and actually it's a resolution from our shareholders to work on this. I think all of us know that it will take a lot of time before we reach this point. So their mandate is to come up with these three documents at least, so that at that time we can start selling it. So far, I think the mission of this committee is to again from the three aspects have three separate documents: marketing document, technical document, and financial and costing document. So these are the instructions of our chairman to how can we proceed on this. Again, it's not a promise. Next year you may see us repeating the same slides, whatever, but we will be working on this. Yeah, actually, of course. My response is, of course, we count on our partners, and we count on the other experience, and we have actually the committee is not only from our region. It's had people and members from Internet to Giant, and if you like, we would like to invite you to be with us, and we have, but also we are thinking of other people to help also. So, no too long days. If you allow me to start with to invite our generous host, have been spending a lot of effort, huge effort to making this success at this marvelous environment. Everything is not only the room, everything around is excellent. allow me to invite the Chief Operation Dr. Professor Ramin to give us a short keynote. Please.
Thank you very much. And they say that the closing speaker and a body and a funeral have something in common, which is they're both necessary, but not much is expected of them. So I'll try to live up to that expectation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor on behalf of President Khoury and the entire AUB community to have hosted all of you here for the past few days. I trust you've had a series of fruitful meetings, and the professional networks you have worked to build will prove to be enduring. I would like to thank ASREN for convening their international event here at AUB. I would also like to recognize the great efforts of everyone who has worked very hard to prepare for this successful conference. I hope you can join me for a moment to applaud them for their effort. Thank you. Over the last few days, you've been engaged in multiple activities under the umbrella of ASREN. We have just concluded 3 successful conferences, ASREN, AROQA, and OSSCOM, 2 major workshops on building NRENs, 3 regional meetings, Africa Connect 2, UMed Connect 3, and Internet to Middle East. Wow, that's a lot for 3 days. All of these activities are at the core of AUB's mission, at the core of what we and other peer universities are trying to do in the Arab world, essentially empowering our best and brightest to achieve their full potential, be they researchers with burning questions or students with the desire to shape the world around them. The impact of technology in higher education is the subject of every conference, from the hardware that enables to the software that interprets, from high-speed computing to crunch large pieces of data to digital humanities, bringing new perspectives to text. However, its impact on learning continues to trail, mostly due to the classical way we teach, the resistance to changing the sage on the stage pedagogy. Today's students are hungry for data they can interpret for themselves, and for teaching that is customized to their particular way of learning. It does not mean that as teachers and educators we're of no use, but it is rather the case that technology has changed the game. It has expanded our abilities. It allows us to reach a far wider audience, and it enables learners from all walks of life to embark on a lifelong journey of learning. But at the same time, the impact of technology must not be overstated, as the once promise of MOOCs to replace the university has already proven to be false. The human contact from each and every one of us is critical to creating the optimal learning experience for our students, the intellectual environment for our faculty and researchers, and the engaging community for our stakeholders. We all know that this cannot be achieved simply by ones and zeros. As the poet Rumi says, be with the one that fans your flame. Igniting and fanning the flame of our students is our job. But we cannot forget that we are in a region that is constantly tested, clearly struggling with democratic values, secular perspectives, and evidence-based decision-making. AUB and other peer universities are hubs of tranquility, where learners and researchers are free to pursue their ideas and their perspectives, where critical thinking and questioning are not only welcomed, but are required, where people of all faiths and regions are blended through a community that cares for them all and gives them a voice. That is what gives our jobs meaning. Technology promises a quick path to globalization, and certainly at the surface level, that can be easily achieved. But at a deeper level, we cannot simply deliver content from the West to the East without pushing our institutions to examine, understand, discuss, and adopt some of the values in context that can enhance our societies. Equally important, we must push ourselves as researchers and educators to create and deliver content which can go from the East to the West, to be examined, understood, and adopted by Western societies within their context to positively empower their people. You see, we each have something useful to say to the other. Technology is the vehicle to facilitate this exchange. We clearly have a great deal to do, and this conference and many others like it are necessary, and your participation is critical to advancing the many objectives we all care about. By your engagement, you have committed yourselves to empowering our youth, to energizing our educators, and to being the change we wish to see in the world. Thank you very much.
Okay, before I call my colleague Salim to conclude the outcome of the two conferences, and as I said, I would like again thank people who have been patient, but we have some more, two delegation from Iraq who have been attending every single presentation and have been silent, but I'm sure that they are watching and enjoying what we have been presenting and discussing for the last few days. Our future partner. So allow me to thank Professor His Excellency Fuad Khamis Muhammad, who is the Ministry Deputy for Science and Research Affairs. Thank you for I really thank you, appreciate that. And also his colleague Dr. Abbas Mohsin al-Bakri, he's from University of Science and Technology of Iraq. So thank you again, and we will be at your disposal as to join us and to help you in having your input. So allow me now to invite my colleague, Dr. Salim Raktash, to say something about the two conferences.
So good evening. I think we had two successful days yesterday and today for the conferences of the Sixth International Platform on Integrating Arabic Infrastructures and the 8th Annual Conference of Quality in Education. The two conferences are concluded today, and with the open source, the second annual conference of open source software computing is continuing tomorrow in the Lebanese University. So thank you very much for all the efforts and support that you have done for the success of the two and three, let's say 2.5 conferences, because tomorrow we're missing some of our participants because they're having workshops today at the Lebanese universities, because the Lebanese University is an official partner in the open source software project, which is now being funded by European Commission Tempest project. So what I would like to say is, these are conferences that had varieties of contributions and varieties of presentations from experts coming from all over the world, from different perspectives in technology, on infrastructures, on quality of education, thanks to our partners from the Arab countries, the ANDRAN partners especially, the global partners who are coming from Internet2, from Canary, from Giant Association, from Red Clara, from Open Internet Alliance, from WAPRN. You are very good friends and very good partners to us. Thank you so much for all of your contribution. It's a fact that these are partners who participate every year in our conferences. So thank you so much for your contribution. I also would like to thank our partners who are coming from the Arab universities and who are contributing to the success of the AROQA conference in terms of contributions in scientific papers and the insights that they have given from Sudan, from Oman, from Egypt, from Iraq, from Lebanon, from Jordan. Sometimes I miss some of the countries, but we have seen all the Arab countries contributing to this conference. And I would like also to thank our colleagues, who are contributing to the OSSCOM project, and maybe some of them are here, but some of them they're not here. They are in the Lebanese University, but we are very happy and we are very delighted, and we are thrilled to all the contributions that you have done during the past 2 days. So there are some declarations that we have collected from different sources, and some of them were listed in the or maybe not necessarily were said clearly, but we figured out some of these. But I could remember some of these highlights, which really ring a bell sometimes, when it comes to major understanding. So, one of the things that we would like to focus during in the future is this Pan-Arab, let's call it Pan-Arab Connect and Pan-Arab Services. So when it comes to the Pan-Arab Connect, there are some discussions, and my colleague Yusuf has just mentioned there is a technical committee, a task force that has been formed to work on the details from the technical perspective, from the financial perspective, and also from the marketing perspectives. So the technical perspective very much goes into what cables do we have, where are the landing of these cables, and financial would be how much does it cost. And marketing would be, where do we get the contribution to lay down, or maybe not lay down, but rather to convince the local operators to cover the local loop. Because we've heard from Eve this afternoon that if you want to do a local loop, it might cost you double the price that you get this 100 gig that goes from Singapore all to Europe if you want to do a local loop. And I have also had a comment with Radwan. He's not here, I guess he left, that he says, if you really want to build this, let's call it 10 gigabits per second network for the region with all kinds of local loops, then probably you could buy several satellites that you can interconnect. Whatever the story is, but the idea is that this is a reality that we have to face, and we have to continue to work on this reality so that we can figure out what is the best that we can serve our communities in the region in terms of national research education networks, in terms of the universities and research institutions. So as I said, every year we meet, and every year we talk about declarations, and this is what we want to achieve. But we come the next year, and maybe we did a little bit of advancement, and then we would try to do more in the next. But what I could say is the little advancement that we have done so far is we have some real interconnections today. So we have a real interconnection in Jordan that interconnects some of the institutions in Jordan. We have a real connection today, which is the American University of Beirut, and they have been very successful in what they have done. First with the very minimum, this is just a milestone, but now we see they are in less than a year, they have moved from 10 megabits per second virtual connection to 320 megabits per second real connection. This is one. The services that they have done is great. We're very proud of what they have achieved so far. So thanks to Yusuf and Muhammad, you've done a great job. Okay, you've really been a contributor and driver, for the network, for the services in the region. And this is exactly what we miss in many Arab countries. We miss the champions. We miss the drivers who can really make things happen. So we would like to do more. So as I said, this is what we have seen during the past year. So we have seen progress in Jordan. We have seen progress in Lebanon. We have seen progress in Palestine because, as I said, maybe in the opening or shareholders meeting, that we have an agreement now. Palestine is on the board and will be connecting the research and education infrastructure to STM1 155 megabits per second. We have seen also advancements in the negotiation and the discussion with our partners in Egypt, in Tunis, in Morocco. I know there are lots of challenges, but we're trying to move ahead with these challenges. We have seen also some progress in Sudan. We are working now with our partners from Open Internet Alliance, Pascal, and Sudan is in trying to interconnect Sudan as well. As if you look at the landscape of what we have today in the region, you see Sudan, for instance, is a shareholder of ASEAN, but at the same time, it's a member of Open Internet Alliance. We have talked about these geographical distributions and clusters that are part of Unit Connect 2 project. But this is what we're trying to work together, and that's why we see Open Internet Alliance, WACRAN are very important partners for us, because we have lots of members who are in both countries, like Sudan, like Djibouti, like Comoros, like Mauritania. There are a number of countries who are really members of both clusters. So that's why we form the Africa Connect project as a whole. So next year, hopefully, that we can get more. So maybe more shareholders, more partners. We also have seen an agreement and consensus from our partners in Oman that they are going to be shareholders of Astron. We have seen also some strong interests from our partners in KAUST, in other Gulf countries, that they would like to work with Astron so that we can put together our traffic and move forward in the direction of aggregating the Pan-Arab network and so on. So there are different perspectives, so I don't want to put you on hold for long, but sometimes I really say some words that is coming from inside, because this is what we face in our daily work. This is what we see on daily basis. So we would like to move forward, but at the end I would like to say thanks, David, thanks, Helga, thanks for all what you have done to Astron and to what you have been doing so far. So with this, I concluded my presentation.
Yeah, for Astron, again, the other part which we committed when we sent the call for participation and for papers, that we will focus, with a special focus on users and researchers. And I think we achieved this by having very good presentation from various fields. I would like to thank OSSCOA, special thanks to OSSCOA people. And we have a presentation yesterday about biodiversity, e-health, and also climate, water. So we will also work on this because at the end of the day we are coming to serve the users. So back to the closing. I want to thank everybody, but I have to start with thanking again AUB for their generous host and being good in this excellent facility, and the conference steering committee. A special thanks to, I think we have members here from the steering committee, so thank you, our steering committee. I mean the EAs, the conference steering committee, the organizing committee, Muhammad Abbas. Thank you, Muhammad Abbas, and your team. Our young ladies have been doing. They have been doing all the work. Yasmin, who's from Asrin, and Razan Khan from AROQA. Where is Sami? Sami, he's been doing hard work, but maybe you don't see him. I know that you have been seeing Khalid most of the time. So thanks, Khalid. And of course, I would like to thank the sponsors and all of that, and partners, which I would not repeat what Salim said. You saw me speaking on behalf of others, so I've been speaking on behalf of Palestine and on behalf of Sudan. Now I will speak on behalf of Egypt. The lady who's representing Egypt is not with us, she left. So on behalf of our colleagues in Egypt, I would like to welcome you next year in EA 2017 at the League of Arab States. The first or second week of December it will be decided and we will be informed. And see you next year. That's it.